So, you're thinking about a career with some serious growth potential, and you've probably heard the term data analytics thrown around a lot. But what does it actually take to get from, just being curious about it to actually getting hired? Well, today, we're going to break down that exact roadmap, step by step. All right, so let's start with the big question. It really feels like you can't go a single day without hearing about big data or data analytics. So, why is this field suddenly at the center of, well, everything? What's the real story behind all this demand? Let's try to put a number on it. 30%. Yeah, that's the projected annual growth of the global data analytics market. This isn't just some small trend we're talking about. It's a massive, sustained wave opportunity for anyone who has the right skills. And this growth isn't just happening in tech hubs like Silicon Valley. We're in the middle of a full-blown data revolution that's touching every single industry. I mean, everything from healthcare, trying to improve patient outcomes, to entertainment, creating those personalized recommendations we all get. What this really means is that a data analytics role isn't just a tech job anymore. It's a job in pretty much any field you can think of. Okay, so that brings us to our first big stop on this roadmap, the skills. If you want to be part of this revolution, what do you actually need to learn? What's in the essential toolkit for a data analyst? So here it is, the essential toolkit. First up, you need a solid foundation in statistics to really understand the why behind all the numbers. Then comes data cleaning. And trust me, this is the unsung hero, because real-world data is almost always messy. For tools, you'll be using SQL to talk to databases, Python to analyze and manipulate the data, and then something like Excel or Power BI to bring it all to life and tell a compelling story with your findings. Now, I know, looking at a list like that might sound a little intimidating, especially if you don't come from a technical background. But here's the most important thing to know. These skills are absolutely learnable. The paths to pick them up are more accessible today than they've ever been, whether you're coming from marketing or mathematics. Let's just zoom in on one of those core skills for a second, data modeling. What does that actually mean? Well, think of it like being an architect, but for information. You're not just staring at a bunch of random numbers. You're actually creating a blueprint that shows how all these different pieces of data connect to each other. It's how an analyst finds the hidden story that's hiding inside the data. Okay, so you've got the list of skills. You know what you need to learn. But just learning them from a book or a course, that's really only half the battle. Now we need to talk about moving into real, hands-on experience. I mean, this is something you will hear from every single hiring manager and senior analyst out there. Theory gives you the map, for sure, but it's the hands-on experience that teaches you how to actually navigate the terrain. It's the critical bridge between knowing what a tool does and knowing how to solve a real problem with it. So what does that path actually look like in practice? It's a pretty clear three-step process. First, you learn the fundamentals, all those tools and concepts we just covered. Second, you immediately start applying them in smaller, real-world projects. And finally, you pull everything together into a capstone project, one big piece of work that really shows off what you can do. And here's a little piece of advice. As you walk this path, try not to do it all by yourself. Learning from people who are already working in the field is one of the absolute best ways to speed up your progress. They can help you sidestep common mistakes and really understand what employers are actually looking for. This brings us to the final and maybe the most important part of our roadmap. Making that big leap from being a dedicated learner to becoming a hired professional. How do you translate all this hard work into a real job offer? This right here is the core transformation every single aspiring analyst needs to make. It's about shifting from just having theoretical knowledge to having applied skills. You go from having a list of things you can do to showcasing a portfolio of projects you've done. It's the difference between knowing what SQL is and proving how you used it to uncover a crucial business insight. So the goal here is to actively build that job-ready profile. This means tailoring your resume to highlight the exact skills you see in job descriptions. It also means you've got to practice talking about your work. You need to be able to confidently walk an interviewer through your projects and explain the story of how you got your results. So there you have it. That's the roadmap. Understand the massive opportunity, get the right skills, gain hands-on experience, and then build your professional profile. The tools are more accessible than ever, the demand is huge, and the potential to make an impact is practically limitless. The only real question left is, what will you build with data?